So we're just going to start off with the first core of that, which is you're calling destination.
Right.
And under destination, there are 3 steps, which is vision and goal and why. So most people try to put this in their head. They figure, okay, I've got the vision, it's in my head, I know it. But that really, you can't really monitor that because you can either forget it or you can change your mind in midstream. And so if you have a goal, let's say 3 weeks or 52 weeks down the road, how do you keep track of that? Your reasoning is to always write it down, right?
Well, so it's one thing to have it up in your head. It's another thing to really crystallize it by writing it down. The other thing about writing it down or typing it into your computer, putting it up on a whiteboard, whatever you want to do to have it in front of you, always brings you home, right? It always brings you home to, what did I say about being in a certain place a year from now? More so, we want people to look further than that, out at least 3 years, maybe 5. But write it down. That's very important because we have to go back and revisit it. It's amazing how we change our minds with respect to our own futures if we don't crystallize it by writing it down. And we don't want this thing to be a moving object. We want it to be a place that clearly inspires us in terms of a place in the future.
Yeah, because my business plan is pretty much set up with Post-it notes on a board.
Yeah.
And I can easily take one Post-it note down and replace it with another Post-it note as I see things changing. So it's still fluid, but I still have that single goal.
Yeah, very important. If you don't mind, let me share a formula with you. Normally I'd be at my famous whiteboard here, scratching away.
We can turn the camera.
Okay, well, let's do that.
Okay.
Can you do that? So in terms of creating a vision for yourself, it's useful to use a construct, okay? The D stands for what are you dissatisfied with, right? The V stands for what do you want to run to? What, in fact, is your vision? Because a lot of us, we're either running away from something or towards something. And when the power can be generated between knowing what both of those are, now you're getting really close to your end game. The multiplication sign then to F is the first step. A lot of times we can have a great big vision. We can write it down. We can even write it down in infinite detail.
How do I get started?
But how do I get started? And if we don't know how to get started, then we freeze. Honestly, we just freeze.
How do you eat an elephant?
Well, that's the elephant syndrome, right? So if your D times V results in an elephant, and we kind of like the elephant, we like people to set really stretch goals. Why? Because it stretches themselves. We tell prospects and clients, we like to coach people who want to go to the Super Bowl because we know they're putting a lot at risk, and that's a lot of fun when we get those kind of folks. So the D times V helps you set your destination. The multiplication signs are there for a reason because if you have a 0 in any of those variables, the result is 0. Okay, so the first step is actually, we could say that the coach's job is to facilitate this process, but also then to help you identify, here's where we start. We're going to talk about time mastery, probably not today, but in a future, which helps our clients learn, small and medium-sized business owners learn how to take the elephant and chunk it down into small, actionable pieces.
Yeah, the word priority used to be singular, but I think back in the 70s, it became plural. You now have multiple priorities, but in reality, there is only one priority.
Yeah, people talk about multitasking. The brain actually cannot multitask. From one instant to the next, the brain is actually just focused on one thing. So we try to get things broken down into small pieces so that we're really enabling our small and medium-sized business owners to get things done. Now, the R, right, at the end of the formula, the R stands for resistance. If we're not effective at creating the vision, D times V, if we're not effective at reaching out and understanding the first step, we have a huge resistance to change. Huge. So this is very effective in terms of helping us create that destination or that vision.